Welcome to Random Review Friday. It's a segment on this channel where we pick a couple of films that may or may not have something in common. Today we have two films that have very much a lot in common. The first one being The Church, and the other one being Demons 3, The Ogre. Both of these films were intended at one point to be sequels to Demons, follow-up to Demons 2. Neither of which is a direct follow-up, but we'll get much into that later. Let's first start with The Church. The Church is actually directed, I believe, it's produced by Dario Argento, I think.
Yes.
Yes, so it's I think it's the closest we'll ever get to a Demons sequel.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Even follows the same one location structure.
Yes. It's basically a group of people in a church, and there's demonic possessions. The only difference being is that the tone in this movie is very different from the first two. Mm-hmm. There's no actual demons attacking. Well, there are demons, but they're not in the same tradition as the first two films, where they're more
it's
like
as aggressive as in the first one, which is like the first one and the second one were just like demons,
yeah.
You know, no transformations. And
yeah,
stuff.
Here's more like weird hallucinations in certain sequences. Without getting too much, there's one sequence where you do see I think like the head of a goat or
it's like actually like a winged demon.
Winged demon,
like
yeah.
A big winged demon.
Big winged demon, yeah. It just looks really weird.
Badass,
yeah. I liked The Church. I really did. What did you think of The Church?
I actually enjoyed this movie a lot. Like it's like you said just now, it's not like Demons 1 and 2. This movie is much slower, much more like the Italian horror movies that we're used to.
Yes, it's more atmospheric. It's more somber.
Yeah. It's a beautiful movie. Like most of the movie takes place in this church, and they utilize the church very well. They awesome cinematic shots of this church. There's this one shot from there's something buried underneath the church.
Yes, that's the whole story that so people can know what the movie's about. The beginning of the film takes place, I think, in like
medieval times.
Medieval times, and they start killing a whole bunch of people. Things like an inquisition of some kind. And all the people that they killed, who they thought were demonic entities of some sort.
And witches and shit like that.
Yeah, they buried them all in one area, and they literally, conveniently, build a church later on top of that.
Directly on top of it. But there's this one shot, it's a fucking amazing camera shot that goes from what's buried underneath the church to the church and down the hallways of the church.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful. I was
cinematography is great. I think you told me before that you didn't like the music in this movie that much.
I think it wasn't up to par with most of the other like Demons 1 and 2.
Well, Demons 1 and Demons 2 were mostly like hip 80s music, very known songs from popular artists from the 80s.
Yeah, but they also have their own creative ones for Demons.
Oh yeah, they did.
Their little synth.
They have their main theme. Here it's more subtle.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's edited a lot lower.
Yeah.
Than most movies. Like how, especially the old Italian movies, the music would like overcome the scene, and you just hear the music a lot. And this one, music took a backseat to the visuals.
I like that personally because a lot of times when they use the music to scare people, it's just once you start hearing the music, oh, something's bad's gonna happen. Mm-hmm. Whereas here, something bad happens, and that gets you kind of off guard because there is no music behind it, and if the music is there, it's very subtle.
Yeah.
Once again, just like Demons 1, Demons 2, they can't get out of the church, or they can get out of the location.
For the exception of Asia Argento, who is back in this movie.
Yes, she was in Demons 2.
Yeah.
She has a bigger role in this film.
Yeah, this is her third movie, only her third movie she was ever in.
Yeah. And she's not playing the same character, she's playing completely
No. This is completely unrelated to Demons 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And somehow she could go in and out of the church as she wants, right?
Yes, yeah. No, she...
Yeah, because at the end, when they're all trapped, she comes in.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, she does. What do you call it? There's one sequence that I really liked, it was bizarre, but it was pretty interestingly made. When you see all these, like a mesh of all these demons emerge from underneath, and it's a very artistically made. It's nightmarishly to look at, but it's very well crafted. I think the dubbing in this film is a little better than Demons 1 and Demons 2.
Yeah. I think You say the characters are more serious than all the other ones.
Yes.
This is not Demons 3, but it's the closest we'll ever get.
It's the closest we'll ever get.
But there was some fucking truly creepy characters, bro. Like, the head priest, he just looked menacing as fuck. You know, he did was like walk around and be bad.
That just shows you that you don't need necessarily gore to make a movie scary. Yeah. It's more about the atmosphere, it's about the actors that you choose to play your parts, and to evoke a certain creepiness, which that sequence that you're talking about did create. That.
Certain things was lacking, I believe, like character development and things like that.
Yeah, but then you can say the same thing about the first two Demons films, which they didn't develop any of the characters very much. But I do see what you're talking about. That in this film, being that it's a little bit more serious, you would expect a little bit more character development.
Yeah, because
we don't get that much of.
You have the movie begins with this guy. He is a new librarian at this church.
Yeah.
Right. And he meets this chick on his way into the church, and all of a sudden they're on a date that night, and all of a sudden they're like in love with each other and shit. And it's kind of didn't make much sense, and it was a little too fast.
Yeah.
For a movie that was taking itself pretty seriously.
Yeah, that's one of the things that's probably will take a lot of people off the movie.
But to me, the movie is visually stunning. I adored everything about the visuals, the old church, the look, the atmosphere. Perfect.
Sadly, there's no special features on this thing. There's like nothing.
No.
And not many people know about this movie. I would recommend this movie a lot. It's even if you've never seen Demons 1 and Demons 2, you can just watch this movie and enjoy it. The ending, I don't remember very well exactly what happened. I think at the end we just kind of get like a very closed off ending, or was there something left open?
Asia Argento is at the end.
I think she's like on her knees in the church or something like that.
Yeah, but I don't want to spoil things or whatever.
No, I'm not saying, I'm not talking about spoiling. I'm just mentioning. I'm just trying to remember if it was left open.
No, not at all.
Not at all. Yeah.
I would say it. I don't know. At the end of the day, any movie's left open nowadays. Like you can fucking make a sequel for anything, even
if it's closed off, right? Yeah. I know what you're saying.
But it's not as open as fucking Demons 1 was.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because with
there was nothing like that. There was maybe a hint as to something could continue.
Yeah.
You know, with Asia Argento, but that's about it.
Yeah, because Demons 1, like, without giving anything away, it was just left in an ending where, like, oh shoot, we might see something, and then part 2 just carries on something
completely different. Yeah.
So, definitely recommend The Church. If you want an atmospherically creepy film with great cinematography, subpar acting, you will definitely have a good time. This is a movie you can watch with a group of friends, and you can watch by yourself as well. So, This is from Anchor Bay. I'm not sure if this is still in print, but do check it out if you come across it.
Yeah, and if anyone has Shudder out there, I believe that movie's on Shudder.
It's on Shudder? Okay, perfect. So good.
Definitely check it out. Great freaking movie.
So now we're going to talk about the sort of official sequel, in name only, to Demons, called Demons 3, The Ogre.
Demons 3, The Ogre.
Yeah.
This should be not called Demons 3 at all. It's nothing to do with Demons 3.
I think we spoke about this earlier, that it was just called The Ogre. It was onto a home video release that they slapped a Demons 3.
Because what happened was that the director of the movie went on to make The Ogre, and the producers of Demons went on to make The Church.
The Church, yes.
Yeah, so there was like a separation there between the director of the original Demons and The Church. So
well, like the producers had spoken at one point about making a third Demons film. Like the conversations have brought up that it would be a neat idea to have another Demons film with the same story of people being trapped somewhere. First film, a movie theater. Second one, an apartment complex. And the third one would be a church. But since that never happened, the producers still went on to making this film, which is the closest we'll ever get to a third Demons film. But this movie, tell us what it's about.
The Ogre pretty much is about a writer of horror fiction and her family. I think her name is Cheryl in the movie. Yeah. I don't know why it doesn't matter. But and her family, they stay at a secluded villa in the middle of nowhere, Italy. While they're there, she begins to experience like childhood nightmares again. I think the house starts to bring her dreams to life. But I'm still confused about it.
Yeah, it's movie. A very... apparently she had a childhood trauma where she saw this demon-like creature coming to life of some sort.
Yeah.
And it keeps jumping back and forth to that. You don't for a large chunk of the movie, you don't know if it's real, if it's a hallucination.
Yeah, it's a little confusing.
It's a little confusing.
But yeah, so her nightmares are coming to life. So one way or another, and she needs to figure. First of all, she needs to convince her husband that what's going on is true.
And it so happens that every time she's trying to convince her husband, there's nothing there. This is like
he's
typical cliche, like, but it was here.
It was here a second ago. Oh my god.
Yeah.
And her husband is the most skeptical motherfucker you ever come across. Yeah. Stubborn as fuck.
It's typical movie cliche of a stubborn husband, like, oh, you're just imagination. You know?
This movie, this is a very slow paced movie.
Fucking slow as hell.
Very, very slow.
Very slow. It's nicely shot.
Yes.
It has good music.
Honestly, like, it is shot at a very, like, beautiful house.
Yeah, it took good use of the location.
Yeah, but I think they actually underutilized that house. There's just, like, one hallway shot that they keep reusing over and over. They keep going back to the hallway, and they keep using this exterior shot of the house. Yeah. But you don't see much of, like, the rest of the inside. You know?
Yeah, you do see the inside a little bit at the beginning, after the title sequences.
Yeah.
You do see the little girl going through the house, but that's about it. For the most part, you're right, you realize the house.
The house looks beautiful, and it, like, the outside, the garden, everything just looks great. But I feel like it's way underutilized. A lot of the scenes take place in a room or in the basement, and you don't really see.
Or outside, really dark, where you don't see. Yeah, I agree. But worse than that, I think we would agree, is the fact that the creature in this film looked like pure garbage.
This was a made-for-TV movie at the time when it was made. That's why, like, the effects are not up to par with any Italian horror of its time. Of that time, like, none of them are as bad as this one was.
Like, initially when you see, like, the creature being in this, like sort of, like, cocoon thing, that looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like, it starts, glowing and shit. That looks pretty cool. But once you actually see it, it's just a guy with a mask, and
it's like the ogre itself is almost laughable. How bad it is.
It's really, really bad. It's not scary at all. Like, if I was the lady who was having all those nightmarish visions, I would be just laughing. I like it's just not a creepy creature at all.
Yeah, he just looks like this one member of the family that was left in the attic. Yeah. Like, forever.
Yeah, that's Tim over there, you know.
Tim, he was born with a lip, so fuck him. We just left him up there.
It reminds me of that episode of The Simpsons where Bart has, like, a strange brother.
The evil twin brother that was left in the attic. Yeah, the effects in this movie are just terrible. There's one part where the main character comes across this dead body underneath this, like, puddle of water.
Yeah.
And that straight up looks like a fucking, like a skeleton that they bought at, like, Walmart. Yeah. And they just threw a wig on it and tossed it in the water. Yeah. That's how bad it looked.
I think they just had a great location that was already pre-existent.
Yeah.
But they didn't take good advantage of it. And the story isn't that interesting.
No.
It's just, at the end, which I'm not going to ruin or anything, which is not much to ruin, it's like, what? It's left very confusing. Like, you don't know if it really happened or if it didn't happen.
Yeah, because... like, at the end of the movie, I thought I understood it, and then the main character delivers this one line, which, like, just throws everything upside down. I'm like, wait, so everything that happened didn't happen? Did it happen? What the hell's going on here?
It's you would say, oh, well, is it a mindfuck of a movie? Not really. It's just, like, lazy writing.
Yeah.
The other thing I think you wanted to add was the slap sequence.
Oh, yeah, that was ridiculous. So pretty much, she's hysterical, trying to fucking convince him. Oh my god, the shit's coming to life. My dreams have become true. This house is cursed, or yada yada yada. And he just looks at her in the face.
Yeah.
Slaps the fuck out of her. She, like any old Italian dude, they don't give a fuck. They just slap bitches. And then
that's what you do.
Yeah. So then she slaps him back and runs away. And of course, he chases her. Come back, honey. Come on. It's alright, honey. And then she just runs away all the way outside. She goes through the woods, goes in the middle of nowhere. And all of a sudden, you just hear her scream. You don't see where she's at, but you know she's in those woods. And you hear her scream. Ah! So he runs up to her and he sees her. She ran into a fucking cow. So she was scared shitless. And then he's like, "You scared of a cow?" And then they both have a laugh. And then now they're back together. Like, it's cool as hell. First of all, they walked out to this little woods areas behind the house, right? They walked there. And then he got up with her when they met the cow. But then they have to drive back to the house.
Yeah, it's retarded.
It made zero sense.
And quickly before we wrap up, there's a sequence in reference to like how bad the effects are in this film. The ogre gets run over in one sequence, like 3 or 4 times, and there's the shittiest, like, you can tell that they just grabbed paper mache and they just...
Worse than Trauma. Like, worse than Trauma.
Yeah, it's like worse. It's really bad.
The one, I think my favorite thing of this movie is the music.
Yes, which you can argue that the music in Demons 3 is better than this music in the church, but they're for 2 different...
Completely different. Like, the music gets a little repetitive because it's the same few tracks they use, but I think it's great. It's the best thing in the movie.
It's the best thing in the movie, which would probably be serviced better in another film. Mm-hmm. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this review of Demons 3 and The Church. They both borrow the whole idea of demons in the title, but they're very different films. They're very, very different. But I think you'll enjoy each one for different reasons. The Church as a genuinely good horror film, even just as a standalone film, not necessarily a follow-up to Demons 1 and Demons 2. And Demons 3 for some of the atmospheric shots, not necessarily good makeup effects, it's really, really bad makeup effects, but still enjoyable.
It's a made-for-TV movie, and it shows.
And it shows, yeah. Well, anyway, guys, until next time. Bye.
And don't forget to check out my YouTube channel.
Oh, yes, Dropping Loads.
YouTube.com/droppingloadsp. Check that out.
Yes, definitely. They have some great channel with a lot of skits, a lot of cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.